Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I have posted and shared here, but I needed to take some much time off. I wasn't really quite sure about where this channel was going, what I wanted to do with it, and so anyhow, I'm back. I will be doing tarot readings, but I'm going to be doing them in a much different way than what I was doing, more from a hermetic principle, esoteric principle, and using the cards for transcending our stuff, even though we are conscious beings. But as long as we are in a body, and we all have stuff. We have emotions, we have feelings, we have happiness, we have sadness, we have pain, we have love, we have it all going on. So anyhow, those are the upcoming changes as far as the tarot readings are concerned. So not only tarot readings, I'm also going to start implementing certain topics for us to share and discuss, and as well as some self-help, sharing my personal experiences on this journey. But I am going to be sharing some experiences that have not been very pleasant and how I have overcome them. So I am a firm believer in paying it forward. I'm not the only person on this planet who has gone through some really tough stuff and have worked through it. And I am here to, assist others on their journey, to just basically let you know that you are not alone. And healing is possible. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. Lots of different stuff. We've got to have different flavors going on here. So anyhow, let's get right to the topic of discussion for today. I'm going to give you a little backstory first before I tell you what the topic is. Well, you're going to see it in the title, but... So, backstory on my life. I was about 11 years old. I had an out-of-body experience. I was in the dream state, and I totally left my body. I was floating around the hallways of my house in Ohio, and I was experiencing this floating through the hallway, leaving my body, floating. I was observing the furniture in the dining room. I remember the beautiful wallpaper my mom put up. The beautiful, velvet couch, the pattern on the couch. I remember the carpeting, and I could see the ceiling, I could see the floor, every detail of, just imagine floating around your house and feeling that feeling of not being in the body, but yet you're somehow connected to it, but you're not. And the experience of it, so it was just a really amazing experience, especially as a kid. So my life has been, my journey in this body, that experience that I had led me on a spiritual path to awakening, I guess. I have not awakened. If anybody's curious. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means. I just feel that we are all awakening, and it's a process. It's not an overnight thing. It also led me to going into the metaphysical business, which I no longer have. I no longer have the brick and mortar, but I do have an online store. I sell crystals. I started getting into groups. Like, I couldn't get enough of like whatever. All, you know, I'm talking from astrology to Zen. So my life was just fascinated, I think, from this experience that I had from a child, that told me that there was much more to this reality that I was living in, even though I was very young. So, today's topic, Atlantis. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you a vision that I had about Atlantis prior to the fall of Atlantis. So there's lots of recounts of Atlantis that people have shared. When Atlantis fell, I guess, basically you could say, it's really weird to say this because we all are conscious beings, but we were in our prime reality of full consciousness. But I'm going to say we fell from consciousness, even though we technically we have never have fallen from consciousness. So it's, I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but I can only explain it in the best way I know how. There's only so many English words, you know, to describe it. Anyhow, this vision that I had. So I had this vision, this woman, she came to me. I was sitting, this was during the time that I owned a metaphysical store. I was sitting and talking with a friend, and this woman came to me. And she described herself as the woman from the underworld, and which I thought was like really weird that she used that terminology, because the underworld, I guess in the Bible, which I didn't know until like a couple of years ago, that, oh, no, we don't talk about the underworld. I'm thinking, well, there's got to be both sides of the underworld. Yeah, there is a dark side, but there is the light side to it as well. But anyhow, she said, I am from the underworld. I'm from Atlantis. And so she showed up in this form. She was in form. It was a form, but she was opaque, transparent. I guess I could see through her. She had long, kind of blondish hair, super long. Along with, I think there were like 2 or 3 other beings. So they all started going into like this explanation of what I call our prime reality. I borrowed that term, but our prime reality of consciousness. So they started sharing things with me, not only sharing, but they were demonstrating, so that at one time, this is all prior to the fall, mind you, we solely used telepathy. There was no, they explained to me that verbal communication is, like how we even talk to one another is very limited. We're telepathy. If we communicated with telepathy, how much better we would all be, because telepathy is more a soul to soul kind of thing, type of communication, where there's just this total understanding of the complete oneness or consciousness through and between all beings. So that was the first thing that they shared with me. The other thing that they shared with me was that sex wasn't needed. Okay, they did not go into detail about this. They didn't share with me how offspring came about without the use of, without penetration. They didn't go into detail. but beings in our prime reality, beings would just come into creation without any sexual intercourse, penetration, okay, that sort of thing. And then the other thing I was shown, they didn't have any, there were no breasts, no genitals. So that was actually the first thing that they showed me before they told me that intercourse wasn't needed. So, I'm taking all this information in, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, how is this applicable to this human experience? It was so mind-blowing. Like, I could barely wrap my own head around what they were sharing with me. Now, what's very interesting is a couple of months ago, I was listening to an interview with David Icke and Credo Mutwa. And Credo Mutwa, he has since passed. He was this Zulu shaman in Africa. I don't know what part of Africa he's from, I don't recall. So he was explaining to David in his interview about this ancient sacred knowledge being passed down to the African people. And he shared exactly what the people from Atlantis were sharing with me. Now, I've been an intuitive, what I would say from 11, I'm just gonna go as far back as when I was 11, when I had the out-of-body experience. There have been plenty of times in my life through intuitive information, I have thought, you know what, this can't be. Please, somebody just prove me wrong. But anyhow, that's how I felt when he shared, when he confirmed what the people from Atlantis were sharing me. I'm like, you have really freaking got to be kidding me. So, to this day, I don't have any explanation on how to take that information that Credo and the Atlanteans gave me and how to implement it in this reality. I'm not real sure what it means. The only thing I ever gotten from it and where they're helping me is if I'm having some major difficulty in my life, they will have me reflect upon what I am experiencing or seeing or feeling that is very uncomfortable and unpleasant. They will remind me that what you are experiencing is not real. Okay? It's not true. It's an illusion. I'm like, okay, but how does that really play out, with the five senses in full operation? Because, we do live in a reality where we see through our eyes, we hear through our ears, we taste through our mouth, we feel through our feelings. So a lot of this doesn't make any sense to me, but yet on some level, it does make sense to me. I'm not 100% clear on how it is to be used while having the human experience. So that's that story. I had a dream one time. This has nothing to do with Atlantis, but I had this dream one time where these three beings laid me out on a pedestal table. They used some sort of laser And they cut me from my scalp all the way down to my toes, peeled all the skin off my head. I could feel them peeling the skin off of my ears. I could feel it. It's like I was in my body experiencing it. No pain, but I was also observing my body. I was able to see what they were doing. It was like this simultaneous kind of operation, if you will. But anyhow, again, no pain, no discomfort. And when they were finished with the procedure, they said to me, "We did this because we wanted to show you who you truly are." And they specifically said, "You are not who you think you are." So it leads into this whole, are we living in a simulation? Is there an inversion going on? Is our perception being manipulated, where we have been manipulated so much to believe that we are a body when we're not? Are we a plasma being? So the information that the Atlanteans were giving me, am I just a plasma being floating through this dimension? I don't know. Because both seems to be very real and true to me. I do believe in both. I believe, that I am in form. I am, having a human experience, but I also believe in what the Atlanteans shared with me. So maybe that's what, they call the integration work, that we are, I don't want to say we're two separate entities, physical and consciousness. I don't know. But anyhow, I would love to hear your feedback from anybody who has had, specific information given to you from, whether it be from Atlantis, from Lemuria, from Shambhala, from another star system. So let's compare notes, let's share, let's do some critical thinking here. And but not only critical thinking, I guess we're going to call this multi-dimensional thinking, So let's just, expand the box and let's talk about it. I'd love to hear your feedback. I will leave my email. So if your story is rather long and you don't want to share it in the comments, you can feel free to email me, and we'll bring this up for discussion on the channel. And let's just get involved and let's learn from other people's experience. And because I know there are many out there, many people have had experiences from being in Atlantis. A lot of people are looking for Atlantis. I think it's great, I think it's so expansive though. The vision that I keep getting is not the one that they always portray, with the circles and the canals and, a functioning civilization. Yes, when we came into being, that's probably what it looked like. However, my experience and what I saw was from Atlantis, and we were able to travel in and out of other dimensions and galaxies and star systems. We weren't. But it was also a meetup place for other, intergalactic beings and such. It was like the combo platter of both. But anyhow, I am looking for your feedback, and I am looking to have an open discussion about this. So, this is where we're starting. Atlantis. Let's open up a discussion, and I'll see what comes up in my next topic. All right, until we meet again, I will see you in the next video.